Bob Wasslen was inducted into the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame in 2000. Bob, congratulations on your induction. Let's talk about baseball and what brought you to the sport and why you just loved it so much.
Well, what I liked about it was it's providing that entertainment for the fans. And people nowadays like to have something that they can go to and they can appreciate.
Let's talk about the early days, though. I mean, you're a kid growing up, and you got this ball, you got the glove, you got the bat. I mean, what was it about baseball that, as a youngster, you said, you know what, I enjoy this, and you obviously went on to bigger and better things?
Well, it came from a family. For a talk ball, it came from a family of 9 boys. So we had a ball team.
There's your ball team.
There's our ball team. And, of course, being right next to the sports grounds, the arena and the sports grounds were right beside us. So we spent our time at the ball and always playing on the roads or wherever it would be.
Talk about the coaching at that early level when you know, some very special people obviously said, you know what, Bob, you know, you have some talent, keep working at it, and who knows? Well, at that time, because we didn't have many of the small organized baseball like they have today, it's far different. So the Mort Orr, who really got us going even in the Manitoba Senior Baseball League, he was one of the first people that talked about that. And when I was growing up, of course, I became interested because my brothers were playing baseball. And so I just kind of followed that. And then, what was I going to say? Mort Orr, he says, well, you could continue playing what you're doing. I think you could play with us soon. Well, all we had that time was senior baseball. That's right.
So Willie Brzezinski and I both, Willie probably played 1 year ahead of me before I played.
But you're only 14, and all of a sudden you're playing with the Ben Scarth men's team, and you're catching it.
I was.
Talk about that and just the pressure of a 14-year-old playing senior ball.
Well, we threw the ball. Being at home with all the boys, we threw the ball every day. So getting that strength, and my brother was a catcher. So that's one thing I like to be. You're kind of in there. You're one of the mainstays of the team, and that's what really excited me.
Right.
And
you moved to Winnipeg, though, and coincidentally, there's no senior or intermediate team in Ben Scarth while you're gone. You return 3 years later and reorganize the team, and you do very well in the Northwest Intermediate League. Were you surprised that ball all of a sudden at that level vanished for a spell?
I was. But at that time when it did vanish is most of our players that I was playing with at the time went to St. Lazare. Okay. Played with the St. Lazare Athletics that joined the senior league at that time. But it is a disappointment when you have the team going there and then all of a sudden there's nothing there.
So how much work was involved in convincing, come back, well, let's get this going, let's have some fun, and let's play some ball?
I was in Winnipeg working, and I was working at that time with Loblaws stores, Loblaws and convenience stores. And where I worked at home in a grocery store, it became up for sale. I thought, well, this might be an opportunity that I could get back at home, and then they said the ball hasn't been there, and I can maybe get it started again.
The Orioles rejoined the Manitoba Senior Baseball League in 1972 and won the league and provincial title. Talk about that special year and what clicked, what worked, why was this so successful?
Well, I think what happened is that we had a group of players that were, they all supported one another. After every game, we got together and reminisced about what we did wrong. And I remember Curly Hawks and Baldy Northcott used to come to our games. They said the reason they came is because he never saw a team that could, they played together and they talked about it, and I thought that was one of the main things that we really clicked together as a team. When we brought players in, our players got a chance to talk about, well, you know what, I don't think this player would fit with us. We got a team that has a good morale, and we always have to have a team player, not an individual, but a team player. I thought it was very important.
But that must have been a shock to the MSBL. All of a sudden, you guys back, and all of a sudden, walking away with the league title.
They picked us as to win 4 and lose 16, and we reversed it. We won 16, and they called us the Cinderella team after every win. The Cinderella team again won. I remember that.
What was it like to coach those MSBL championship teams? Now you're in the dugout, you're coaching them in Ben Scarth when the league had so many talented teams. I mean, talk about your coaching philosophy back then. with your teams and, you know, trying to win league titles?
Well, I'll tell you, we didn't have what you talk coaching. I did the best that I could do. I mean, when you think of the coaching today, there's some great coaches today in Canada. And because there's more access to getting that expertise today. But I did the best that I could do.
But you did more than fill a lineup card, though. I mean, obviously
we practiced. When we had practice, we had just like a game at every practice.
Yeah.
Everybody had fun. And as long as we were having fun doing it, and I made sure that we had fun when we practiced, and that was number one. We did a lot of practicing, and I think that's what built the team up too.
All right, the famous best-of-3 series with the Thompson Reds. Let's talk about that, and that's baseball folklore now.
Well, it's hard. The first game we lost 1-0 in Bidsgard. When we went back there, only 10 of our guys went out of 19. So we really never had a top team to go there, really. Anyway, when we went there in the first 9 innings, because we went into extra innings, we were down 8-3 playing the 5th inning, I believe, 5th or 6th inning. And we gradually pecked away and we tied it up. And we actually went ahead and they tied it. And we had to go 9 more innings the next day. We had one pitcher, which was Garth. He was the only pitcher. He pitched that game. So the next day they said, who's pitching? Well, Garth said, give me the ball. So he pitched 9 more innings. So we pitched 19 innings. So we won that game. But there were so many stories in that game. There was bases loaded, none out, or whatever. Forbes Stewart had a chance to bunch the winning run in. He popped it up. And then we went, the next game, the third game, Dale Geese started it. And then Garth finished it off. He pitched 21 innings out of the 26 innings we played there.
You just don't forget a weekend like that, do you?
No. There were so many stories in that, so many times both teams could have won it, and they didn't win it.
Played a doubleheader with the Kansas City Monarchs in the late 1950s. How special was that?
Well, when they phoned us and asked if we'd be interested in having them, well, we said, well, that'd be great. Well, we had about, I think it was around 1,500 people there at the game. They beat us the first game, and we won the second game. Ray Dunham pitched, and he struck out 15 in the second game. But it was phenomenal just to know that team, a lot of major league players went from that team to the major leagues. So it was something.
In June of 2000, you were inducted into the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame. Memories of that day and just how special with family, friends, teammates, and just what an evening that was.
Well, it was a phenomenal evening, and because that was the year that my wife also passed away. She was part of it. She was actually as much part of it as I was with it, because she went with me at all times she was behind it all the time. But to be inducted and know that the friends that you have developed being in that league for so many years, it was phenomenal. And the players that went from our team to the national team, there was twice, we had 3 players off our team that went to the national team for Canada. So I thought that was an honor too. But just to know all the people that I have made friends with, and of course you have people that during the game they can be enemies, but after a game you're back to where you were, your friends.
Bob, thanks for this and for sharing all those great memories of baseball in Bidsgarth. Bob Wasslen was inducted into the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame in 2000. I'm Clayton Drager.